I pay my stadium membership and two full-time employees for less than I was paying the person answering my phones.
There you go.
I'm sipping on success, feet up in the air. Why work harder when you can play it smart? That's the lazy leverage way to steal their heart.
Welcome back to Lazy Leverage. I am joined by Brandon. Brandon, do you want to say hi?
Hey, how's
Hey.
it going? Brandon Beachy here. Thanks for having me.
I have to say right off the bat, when you joined, I am definitely intimidated by your background. So I can't tell. Is that Cox? Like,
That's Bobby Cox
okay.
and Chipper Jones, and I've got a Greg Maddox up there, and various other ones, that I picked up back in the day.
Growing up, the Braves were my team, and you were a part of the Braves organization at one time in your professional journey. And so to have those is just super cool. And I mean, what an organization, and to be a part of the pitching staff, no less. I mean, that's pretty
Yeah,
cool. Um,
yeah, yeah. It
that's
was intimidating, kind of coming up under that tutelage, and uh, got some experiences and stories of all three of those big guys, and yeah, it was a special experience and dream that I got to live out for sure.
I got to tell you, I've probably watched that video of Maddox throwing that two-seamer. You know, that it was just like the most incredible Maddox
Yeah,
two-seamer of all. I think, was he playing the Cubs? It's just, I have the image, but that just little nicking like the outside corner against the righty, and it was just like, I probably watched that video 100 times. It's such a beautiful pitch.
yeah,
It's like
yeah.
the
He never
perfect.
taught me that one. I could make it go this way, but not back that way.
It was like a screwball, but he threw it
Yeah,
88, and
yeah,
so. Well, obviously, if it hasn't been picked up on, your previous career was in your professional baseball player. And then much like me, obviously I wasn't a professional athlete, but what year did you what year did you stop identifying? How old were you as a professional baseball? Like, at what point were you like, what age did that hit?
I'd say two ages. 2016, I knew I was done. I
Yeah.
knew after all the surgeries and headed for another one that I was done. But I don't know. I can't remember how old I was then. But I was kind of terrified of what was next for me. So I spent another 3 years rehabbing some injuries and a couple minor league attempts. So 2019 was my last year, and I was 33.
Yeah.
I would say, just had our second kid, and it was like, hey, I can't be riding buses in the
Yeah.
minor leagues anymore. And like I said, I knew my body it just wasn't in there
Yeah.
anymore to get back to the level that I needed to be to
Yeah.
have the career that I once had. So yeah,
Yeah, and the reason I mentioned that is because I think, I made mine a little bit later than you, but not that much later. That I think people live their whole life and they never make the jump from what they were to what the next thing is. And now you've hit the reset switch. You had a slice of humble pie where you didn't have somebody, packing your gear for you, and you went and freaking figured out Koala insulation. You've got some things to say about transitioning professional athletes. You've got some things to say about franchises in general, and you're now on the other side. But if you look back, you did this really hard, what am I anymore? And you've managed to
yeah,
make your way out, which I think is a really cool thing that a lot of people basically never do. Like, they never do that. I'm just gonna go start fresh at 33 or the equivalent, right? Does any of that identify do you identify with any of that?
yeah. No, I mean, I was there. I had to do it, and it wasn't easy. Like it was not, this easy transition. And that's, when I'm, you know, talking to other former athletes and trying to help them in the small ways that I can. Like I think that's the biggest message I want to get out there is this wasn't easy for me. Yeah, I've navigated it. But yeah, I mean, I still have dreams of being on the mound in a stadium, or those thoughts creep in every now and then. I watch guys that I played with and against still on TV, and
Yeah.
there's some of those thoughts, and you miss it at times. But but yeah, I mean, I had to navigate through it, and I knew I needed to do something, right?
Yeah.
Like financially, emotionally, like I needed something else. I wasn't going to be, Brandon the baseball player for the rest of my life.
Yeah.
Um, and the sooner I kind of got through that, the better.
What a what an incredible journey, man. I mean, I think you have 2 kids, right? A boy and a girl?
Yes, yeah,
Cool. Yeah,
yep.
I've got a 2-year-old and I've got twins on the way. Um,
Oh wow,
I will say looking back for sure, I'm very glad, and I think you've done the same thing, and, some of the things we're gonna talk about with global talent and small business and leverage. I'm really glad that I was able to make that transition, uh, like, basically keep my family, like, and be on a path now that is much more under my control.
yeah,
Because imagine going to a double A team and then getting bumped up for 2 days and then basically putting your family through that versus, "Nope, I run a installation business, I also advise on this," and, like, you're now a little bit more in the driver's seat with a young family, and I am enormously grateful, in my journey to not be like, "Hey, man, you gotta go to Iraq for 6 months." It's like,
yeah,
"What? Shit." It's like the equivalent of like, "Hey, you gotta go
yeah,
play in Duluth to rehab your elbow," and your
yeah,
wife's you're living in a hotel room with your kids, right?
yeah.
So I imagine your
Yeah,
family was kind of a big motivator, right?
absolutely, and that's kind of what I sat down with my wife and wanted to do, because she was supportive. Like, hey, if you want to, coach or stay in baseball, pursue front office, whatever. Like, she was going to support that. I didn't want it.
Yeah.
I hated being gone. I didn't like that, and what I kind of the more I dug into it, what I realized was yeah, I wanted control. I wanted
Yeah.
control of my schedule. I wanted to be where I wanted to be, which was at home with my family, every night, essentially.
Yeah.
Um, and, that's when, like I said, well, here I am at 33 with nothing on a resume, but, baseball player. Um, what do I do? So I started talking to people who had that control, and it was very clear right away. These people are all entrepreneurial. Um, Unfortunately, I just didn't have any ideas or obviously experience in what to do. So that's what kind of pointed me in the direction of franchising.
Franchising is cool. Franchising is a really cool concept. Like, obviously, like with anything, there's like really ugly parts that are crappy
Yeah,
and but that's literally everything in the entire world. But I think done right for someone like you or anyone, honestly, not just someone like you, for a lot of people to be able to kind of still have that entrepreneurial um direction, but have some kind of guide rails floating around, I think is you pay for that privilege, obviously,
yeah.
but you should pay for that privilege, right? It shouldn't be free. So I think it's a really cool landing place. Was Koala, is that immediately where you went to?
I looked at a bunch of different stuff, and because I was ignorant, I was just learning about franchising. So I explored, group fitness, a massage place, some brick and mortars, other
Yep.
service businesses. But Koala, it just fit. I was taking a leap. I was early in there, which,
Oh, were you?
you know, I liked the potential. I liked the creativity, because that's something I've learned about myself as well. It's like, hey, I wanted those guide rails and I wanted that there, but I also didn't want to be in a system like McDonald's where
Yeah.
you're just executing and have no creativity over
Yeah.
anything at all either. So I wanted a mix of that, which I got, and I was able. I'm in Nashville. I've got the whole market here, so it's an attractive. It was an attractive opportunity.
I have been to some of the weirdest places in the world, you know, every continent other than I know. I mean, I've been everywhere and I've never been to Nashville. So one day I'd love to pop in and say hi.
That's
But I've been
that's,
to,
that's a good spot.
the Horn of Africa, but I've never been to Nashville. Um, so okay, so what attracted you to Koala? And I'm kind of backing our way into kind of like today, right? And then we'll start talking turkey stuff about whatever. But how'd you decide on Koala?
I realized I wanted a service based business. I
Yeah.
didn't. I wanted to be able to grow and scale my business based on sales and not have to, you know, some great models out there, brick and mortar, but I want to expand I need to do another build out, open up
Yeah.
another location, do the whole thing over, another large investment of time and money. Whereas once I'm up and running with a service based business, it's another F-250 and two guys.
Yeah.
Um, so I could scale it that way. That made sense to me. The essential business aspect of it, especially in a market that's growing, it just felt like it felt safer where it was more in my control. There were more avenues I could go to pull levers if things weren't going well. I guess it was one of the big reasons.
So just to bring me up to speed, I know a little bit about koala installation. In-house crews or subcontracted crews?
In house,
In-house. Okay. And then virtual sales or in-house sales?
in house sales.
So
Yeah,
you run appointments and you quote. Okay,
yeah,
cool. That's
yeah,
actually
yeah.
similar to our business, or my old business, I should say, in home improvement. And then I'm sure, I'm guessing this isn't like proprietary or anything because it's probably in the FTD. Roughly, what's like the range of a sale, like top line? Like, it's a $5,000 sale, a $500 sale. I have no idea.
Yeah, I think our average ticket last year was around 3,700 or so. So I mean, that's obviously the larger jobs skew that. So if we're just going into a residence, a person's home, we're probably talking $2,500. We do mostly retrofit stuff, so we're you know increasing your ventilation, topping off your insulation, doing some air sealing. That's kind of our bread and butter. Customer service,
So,
really.
roughly speaking, how many do you guys call them installs? What do you call them? Jobs?
Yeah, installs,
Job
jobs.
installs. Yeah, sounds like it's like our business.
Yeah.
How many installs a day can your crews run?
Um, 3 to 4, typically.
Cool, that's great.
Yeah, during the summer we'll go. Maybe run an extra crew. Um, you know, but that's
Cool.
that's that's about average, I'd say.
Is licensing required?
In my state, you need a home improvement license or a
Cool.
general contractor's license. But it's insulation itself. I could train my daughter to blow insulation into an attic. You're just holding a hose. It's
Yeah,
you know
that's great though. I mean, that's awesome.
yeah,
Okay, so as of maybe a few months ago, you'd joined Sagan Passport, our company. And I wanted to talk a little bit maybe about some of the things you've done, but then also kind of what's next. I love talking about like, because I'm a the company usually calls me like the mad scientist because I'm so like aggressive with the way I like using talent to drive sales or whatever. So maybe I can give you some ideas or hear about how you're
yeah.
using it. But kind of like, what brought you to our door? Was it a particular problem? Was it a referral? Was it me messing with Nick Huber on Twitter? Like,
Yeah, all of those probably. No, Brandon Dixon is
yeah,
I think you know him. He's another. He mentioned just talking business with him, and
he's a former
yeah, he was a major
MLB
league
guy too, and
baseball player and street
street
sweeping
sweeping.
business. That's right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
So he told me that he was gonna do some hiring overseas, and I asked him about how he was going about that. He mentioned you guys, and it's something I had thought about, heard about, looked into briefly, but just didn't have like that pressing need. Like I just didn't have an issue, and then ultimately, the tipping point for me was my receptionist. She works remote from home. There's no forward facing office space for us. We don't deal with customers at our warehouse. It's just a
That's
warehouse.
great.
So it was, she could do that from anywhere. And, I think she, on about at 8 p.m. on a Sunday evening, said she was done. She was quitting. And, I'm scrambling, because that was the big thing for me in that first year growing that business, was hiring somebody to answer all the phones and do all the scheduling so that I didn't have to do that. That freed me up to pursue other things. So I was like, hey, I'm going to do this. I'm going to look into it. I'm going to contact Sagan. I'm going to go down this path. And then, getting in, it was a fantastic experience. I've got Victoria working for me out of Argentina now, and she's incredible. She's incredible. She genuinely, she asked a question the other day, like, hey, can you tell me about this product and things that position has never cared about for me before, and I didn't really expect. Or she wants to genuinely know and understand,
Develop.
and just to help to be able to answer more questions, and do more. And as I was going through that point, I was like, I really want to grow this business. Um, who else can I hire? What positions? So
Yeah.
I've got somebody else that we put up an ad for and got some applicants, and somebody way overqualified, from Colombia, that's doing my takeoffs for my single family home, and now he's doing big commercial project takeoffs. Where that's all he's doing, and then I've got him doing, I call it sales support, where
Yeah.
I've got two salespeople, and he's tied into their emails, into the CRM, where
So good.
like, hey,
So good.
yeah. So when one of my GM runs a lot of sales, he's incredible, but he's also driving around in the truck all day long. If he's
He's
go,
also a sales guy.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
He's also a sales guy.
So he's heading everything in the sales side. He deals with a lot of our contractors and builders and those big relationships. So a lot of times they'll be like, hey, stop by. Nobody's there. Just go take your measurements, check it out. And he takes the measurements and he's hopping in the truck off to the next thing. And then it's 5 p.m. and he's getting home to his wife and baby, and forgets to send it. We get an email a couple days later, hey, where's the estimate? And it's like, and that's like, that's the thing that like kills me the most, is that we're a customer service business.
Oh yeah.
Having them, so I've got my guy, he's checking that. He's like, hey, Jared, this estimate's not sent. Or, well, Jared will hop in the truck and give him a call and relay the measurements, and he'll build it out and he'll send the estimate, for him. So things like that, on top of, we're putting out, I mean, millions of dollars worth of bids that he's doing. Um, so figuring that out, it's given me the opportunity to really kind of understand different segments of the market, to strategize on how
Yeah.
to penetrate.
So there's a lot of different things you just kicked up that are all awesome. I think the first thing I'll tell you is, I built a tool that we're actually launching something in Sagan this week, that we'll give to you. It's not going to cost much. And it's not just this tool, it's building tools like this where, for this exact thing, which was I built a phone line that my sales reps could call into, and it would ask them questions, and then it would automatically be transcribed and written up and sent via Slack or added to CRM, so that they could basically, while they were driving, they just press call the sales line, and it would say, welcome to Koala of Nashville. Did you close the bid? Is there any? And they're just driving, talking on their
Yeah,
Bluetooth. And I finally got them to start capturing instead of having to wait till 6 p.m. and sit on their laptop at home, which they would never do. And so I literally built it because I was like, and it's not that hard to build, but we're launching this. It'll cost you like a couple $100, but it's a great way, instead of just live calls with your Columbia guy, just call the phone line, and then literally we can stick it into AI and write it up as one page.
yeah. We use Slack. No, and
Have
that's
it
right.
dropped into Slack. You
Yeah,
can between
yeah.
appointments.
That's really smart, because I've got him now. Like, I've got them on Otter AI, and it's
Yeah.
same thing. He just has to click a button. It's going to
Yep.
transcribe it, but then he has to manually send it, so it's not, it's
This
not
will
automated.
we're coming out with something this
Yeah,
week
it's
because
perfect.
I was like, all I do is focus on the in-person stuff
Yes.
and capturing it, and then just like upload it to the matrix.
Yeah.
Once it's in the matrix, I've got people in other countries, I've got technology, I've got CRM, but I just need you to win the sale,
Yeah.
do the measurements, and upload it to the matrix, and then I got it. So, yeah, so that's one thing. The second thing that you mentioned, which was my joke was, in our company, we went through 4 front desk people in 4 months because at the price that I could afford as a small business, I was dealing with substance abuse, I was dealing with everything you could name. And when I started hiring globally, it wasn't to save money. It was because I needed somebody reliable that I was proud of to be answering my phone with a smile on their face, that
Yeah.
was excited. It was and I happened to save money, but it was not, it was, dude, she's stoked. I think she's going to end up being our operations manager within a year. She's asking me questions and she said, "Hey, can we try this? And I've been doing this. And do you mind if," and I was like, "Oh, this was what I was looking for, not somebody who it looks like they're doing me a favor by just like showing up." And honestly, it was a flight to quality. It sounds like you had that experience too. It wasn't like I'm trying to save a few bucks.
No, yeah, if I was just looking to save some money, I would have done it a lot sooner. It was, "Hey, I'm not getting what I need out of this position. I just don't have the willingness to learn. We're making the same things every time we pivot. There's a new tax credit with our local power company, so you have to do a little data entry. Like I'm getting friction on all of those
It's like you're
things."
pulling teeth.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, and no, it's been the opposite of that, complete
And
opposite,
so it seems like for you, from a quality standpoint, you upgraded quality while also happening
big
to
time,
save money,
without a
which is
yeah,
a rare thing though. That's
yeah.
a super rare thing. You know, I don't know if it's the case in Nashville. The thing that was big too for us, at least, was a lot of our crews were Hispanic, and so having bilingual people was freaking great.
It does help, and I always make the joke because we are in the South, and that was a part of apprehension for me
Normal question.
was
Yeah.
was hey, like, I need somebody that can answer the phone and not turn off, these older people that have certain,
Older white dudes.
yeah, yeah, and yeah, I mean, it's crazy. I make this joke. The woman from Argentina speaks better English than my local.
Correct.
You know,
Correct. Well, and
it's
and and
crazy.
the fact is if you hear the thing that people think when they think about global talent is honestly, I love the Philippines, I love India, I have oodles of people from those 2 countries, but it's a very particular perception of what a global workforce is.
Yeah,
And the fact is for me, I would never put somebody with a Philippines tinged accent on the phone ever. Not because I don't care if they're a Nobel Prize winner, because the cultural connotations of that accent are very clear in the US. It's not the same in Canada, I found out. Whereas somebody with a mild Hispanic accent, you're like, "Dude, that guy's from El Paso."
yeah,
Like, dude, half of Florida's Hispanic. What are we doing here, guys?
yeah.
Right? So, I think a more sophisticated understanding of what a global workforce is, it's not just India or Pakistan or again, I love those countries. I hire a ton of people from those countries. But if somebody listens to the Nobel Prize winner from India, they're going to be like, "Where are you based?" And it'd be like, "Dude, I have a Nobel Prize." But if he's got an Indian
Yeah,
accent, it's just the way it is, you
yeah,
know.
yeah,
Um,
absolutely. No, but
yeah,
she's great.
and it was at prices that are, I would say, for the talent, right? Small business friendly,
I
right? Like,
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if you want me to get in, but I'm
sure,
paying
you
for a
yeah, sure. I
Sagan.
mean, we don't mark it up. It's
Yeah.
her rate, not ours.
No, I pay my Sagan membership and 2 full-time employees for less than I was paying, the person answering my phones.
There you go.
It's
And you get 4 more hires
Yeah, yeah,
plus a
and
bunch of
I
other stuff,
just
so
that's my challenge is, not who to hire. It's like what positions, what other positions
yeah.
for my business do I not, can I do that are boots on the ground?
Oh, I've got some for you that I've done. One thing I will, mention in passing, which is have you connected with Bincy?
I don't think so.
Okay, she used to be our head of operations. She's been with me for like 8 years. She now runs product. She's on our Sega's leadership team. Um, what I would say, the first thing I would say is for the 2 are one's a guy, one's a girl?
Yeah,
What I would say is one of the most important things that I did that you should be thinking about is elevating these folks organizationally and that
yeah,
she or he is your future remote operations manager in training. And she is going to be the one when you need to have a couple shifts answering the phones, they're going to work for her or
yeah,
him or right. So like starting to think about it as your minor leagues.
yep,
And there, so what one of the best things I've done is I've created junior leaders who are global, who become middle leaders and then eventually become, dude, she just runs operations. She's been here longer than everybody. She's the one who transitioned us from ClickUp to Airtable, or like she wrote the script. She writes, like, basically seeing these folks as starting as individual contributors, but moving upwards in your organization. Like when you go buy 2 more territories, you're not going to go bring somebody outside. You're going to be like, hey, you don't just answer the phones anymore. You run a team of phone answers.
Yeah.
And then, so that's the first thing I would say is, as you just grow revenue wise, I would peg these folks as junior leaders. Like day one, like you agree that they have potential, right?
This has already been discussed
Yeah,
with
cool.
them.
Okay, good.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we're absolutely on the same page there, and
cool.
they're
Yeah, yeah.
ecstatic, right? And they're
Yeah, they love it.
appreciative. They are, it's fantastic.
It makes you feel, makes I, I questioned, there's a lot of people who don't grow their companies because of a lot of the stress associated with turnover in the front desk position. You're like, I'd love to pay $180,000 a year to get somebody great. I don't pay myself $180,000 a year, right? So it helped me. I tell people hiring globally helped me fall back in love with building my businesses, because I was working with people that like were stoked. We're stoked. Hey, John, I know you didn't ask me to do this, but and I'm like, thank you. I was like
Yeah,
so battered.
yeah. I can tell you a couple quick stories on that.
Sure. Yeah.
I utilize Slack where I'll be.
Yeah.
When you're running a business, it's bouncing through your head all day and all night
Oh, yeah.
at
Of
certain
course.
times. And my biggest thing is like I would try, you know, well, I'm going to wait till morning and then, before I send that message or whatever it is to tell them because I don't want to bother them at night. And then guess what? I forget. And I forget, and it comes up a few days later, and it's too late or whatever it is. So I'll just send the Slack. I'll send the Slack at 9 p.m., 10 p.m.
Yep.
So I do this the first few times. I send a message 8 p.m., which is 10 p.m. in Colombia, and he goes to the desk and does the task right then. And I'm like, hey, Alejandro, I really
Hey, I
appreciate
just
that.
didn't want to forget. Yeah.
Like, please understand me. Like, I want you and everyone within my organization to have a work-life balance. I'm only sending this because I'm going to forget to do it in the morning if I don't. And, and it took the first few times where he's just going and doing it. And it's just a very different work culture that I've had to understand where he wants to work. And it drives him, and trying to get him to see it differently,
Oh, yeah.
it's been great. And also like the rewarding side of that too was, he calls me up and he said, I need I need a letter of employment. I need something on letterhead.
Yeah.
Like, hey, I just signed my first apartment by myself
Because of
for the
this
first
job.
time because of this job. And it's like, man, that, installation's great. It helps people. It doesn't fire me up,
Yeah. Yeah. You're not,
achieving the
yeah,
lives
exactly.
of employees really, really is pretty special.
All right, confession time. This podcast was originally going to be a side project, something we'd put together whenever we had the time, but Dan really pushed us to get serious, and honestly, I'm super glad he did. He's been instrumental in getting this show up and running, so if you're a business owner looking to expand your B2B reach with content creation, whether it's top of funnel, mid funnel, bottom of funnel, Dan Kerner, he's your guy. Hit him up at Dan Kerner or at remixalot.com.
I didn't think I'd be reaching across borders to be doing that too, but here we are.
I will tell you that, we've built relationships. We've got a lot of folks that we've hired and just we're doing some stuff on that. But what I will tell you is that those relationships, when I have somebody who's kind of like press the I believe button and they say, Brandon, I know I'm being a little bit forward here, but I would love if over the next 10 years, we could build 10 or 20 businesses together. And if it's not too imposing on you, I would love to become, maybe like a junior operations manager in a few years. I know I'm not ready. And you're just like, oh my God, like, yeah. Oh my God. Like, thank you. You're just like so excited. I'm like, I want to build with you. I want to develop in you. Do you need training? Do you need resources? Do you want to come visit? Oh, do you know anybody else I should hire? Like, And so being able to build a relationship is so rewarding to me with the folks on our team and develop them and challenge them and watch them blossom as leaders and as contributors to their communities. It's just it makes me feel good, and I've struggled at times to feel good when I'm feel like I've just you know I've struggled to build that relationship with what I could afford as a small business. That's maybe the way to say it.
Yeah, no, I think that's business ownership. That's leadership. I think that's like, and I in my role as a franchise consultant, I got into that to help other athletes transition the way I did. Just like, hey,
Yeah,
franchising is an option.
yeah,
It's not perfect, but it
great
might be
option. Yeah,
for you. But that's the biggest thing is like, hey, the experiences I have through sports, the experiences you had through sports, and then, semi-military, like that's leadership, dealing with that
oh yeah,
a different array of people and understanding, like, first of all, sifting through them, getting along with everybody, but then, leading them, incentivizing them. And when you see, a good teammate latching onto them and
makes me
growing,
so happy.
yeah,
Makes me so
that's,
happy. I love it. So I'll mention 1 or 2 things, and then I'll maybe give you a couple ideas. The first is, if you're not already, so we have something called Sagan University that's very active. So sending them to that, and I mean, you don't need to do quite as much. I mean, for you, if you just there's good stuff in there, but we do things just like getting started on Notion, right? And you can we it's continued education for you to be able to invest in them. It's included in your Sagan membership. It doesn't cost anything. Um, because I want to send my team to continued education about like, hey, go learn about how to use ChatGPT better. We're doing a 3-hour workshop. Or, hey, go setting up Slack the right way. Like they'll come out of that and they'll pitch you ideas. And so, if you're not already, make sure that they're kind of like looped into our course curriculum because we're rolling out a ton of stuff we call it Sagan University. It's like continued education for global talent or for your sales rep on how to use global talent better to close more deals. Like, hey, quit doing that. Use them. Oh, okay. I never knew how to do that. Right. So we do that kind of stuff. The second thing I'll mention, um, that'll make you laugh that you'll appreciate. You probably don't need to do this, but we did, which was our crews. Um, we'd have a morning meeting every day at 7 a.m. before they went out for the day. And I put a desktop computer in the warehouse and I had our global talent remote into it. I also hooked her up to the printer. And so the guys would walk in, she'd be on the screen and she'd say like, "Hey, Eliseo, good morning. Your job today is over here. Here's the job." She'd hit print and it would print out and he'd hold it up and make notes while they were talking. And then, "Okay, Carlos." And then the other crew leader would come over while they're all loading the truck. That's how we'd run our morning meetings. And it was basically our in-house crews with our global talent. And then we put GPS in the trucks so that the global talent could be like, "Hey, we're on our way," or whatever. We integrated it all with Slack because I was just like, now that I have this incredibly high talent workforce, like I want to lean into it. Like lean into like stop being so reflexive in my business. I want to start like, how do I provide better service or better get more reviews or more testimonials or whatever? So
yeah,
like,
those are great ideas, and that I envision getting to that point as I spread out. I've got a general manager and an ops manager, and I'd
yep,
like my ops manager to be doing more, in the field stuff where I
yeah,
got other people that can order materials and coordinate
exactly.
the
I had a
job.
purchasing manager. Yep.
Yeah,
I had a
exactly.
purchasing manager, global talent, like
Yeah.
$1,000 a month, like full-time purchasing manager. All they were doing. So I'll give you a couple quick ideas based on your business just to get your juices flowing. The first one that I'd say based on what you've said at your size business, there's really two categories, what I would call back office and growth. You've got two back office folks, but the ones that you don't have that I would say that are just jump out to me is I would definitely have somebody reworking old leads because your sales reps are not working them nearly as much as they should. There's
They're
no
not.
doubt in my mind. I know they're not because they're sales reps, right? And so getting somebody who just works old leads, um, tries to get reviews and referrals after the install. Hey, just want to check in. Did we give you 5-star service? Because that stuff is great for SEO.
Yeah.
That's basically like a sales focused follow up, and all they do is live in your CRM. Hey, just I know you got a quote a few weeks ago. I know maybe the timing wasn't right. We've got a great December deal going on right now where you get a free sealant if you order 100 square, and just running your database like that is that person pays for themselves in like 33 minutes.
Yeah.
Like they're so that's a good one.
Yeah.
As
I
an
like that.
old lead worker. The other one, purchasing's an easy one, but you don't need somebody full time for that yet. The second one I would say for you for sure that had a huge impact for us was I gave, and it was a little bit, it wasn't a big butt pain to set up, but I had our crews and our sales reps start wearing GoPros
Mm.
or basically putting up cameras, and then it would all get uploaded to the cloud. And I got a video editor who started pumping Instagram in
Mm.
our local area for leads, because all you need to pump Instagram is just the videos. And so I'd be like, hey man, when you're spraying, just like wear this little chest rig.
Yeah.
And all they do is click a button. And when they get back to the warehouse, they just put it on the desk, have your ops manager upload it to a Google Drive and give it to some dude in the Philippines who's great. And he can make these awesome videos about and get those into Instagram to start creating top of funnel. So video editors is another great one for you.
Yeah. I'm going to do that. That's,
Yeah, it's a great one. Put in the request, Sagan. Yeah.
yeah.
Once the same thing, your sales lead follow upper. The other thing that we did that worked really well on Instagram in particular was starting conversations in the DMs. So you post the video, 7 people like it in Nashville. What that guy does is he DMs them and goes, "Hey Brandon, are you a Nashvilleite like I am?" That's it. After they engage with your content, so it doesn't feel cold, and then they're like,
Yeah.
"Yeah," it's like, "Cool. Are you a homeowner? Yeah. Have you thinking about insulation? Yeah." Like booking appointments in the DMs once they interact with your content is a great lead gen strategy.
I've got somebody, I've got her hired part-time, that, applied for my receptionist role.
Yeah.
She's doing that kind of strategy on Facebook for me.
Oh,
So, I
perfect.
guess, I've
It's
got
great.
3 kind of,
Yep.
she's doing
So
it
you're
part.
kind of set up.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, but that's, yeah. No, I need the content. I need the video. The
That's the
video
key is the raw,
idea is
right?
really,
The key is
yeah,
stick get a or get a little tripod, like a tripod. For us, since we did garages, we just got a tripod with a GoPro and we're like, set this up out front and put it on time lapse. You just press this button.
yeah,
And then they would just do their install. They forgot about it. But when they came back, it was killer raw footage.
yeah,
Killer
yeah.
raw footage that we just, we take still shots out of it. We put quotes on it, testimonials. How are you doing on reviews and referrals?
Pretty good. I mean,
Okay. You feel good about that one. Okay.
compared to our market, I think we're a 5-star on Google with a little over 400 reviews, and
Oh, good. So you're on it. Good.
yeah,
Good.
yeah,
Making sure you didn't have like 14.
yeah, no. Compared to our competition, I don't know that anybody's got more than like 40 or
Perfect.
50.
Perfect.
So
Okay.
yeah,
So that's an
we
easy
do it.
one. So those are some good kind of like salesy ones.
Yeah,
Do you guys do B2B or is it all B2C?
we do some B2B. We want to be the partner for restoration companies, anybody that's kind of coming in and they don't do insulation, but they kind of come in contact with it, HVAC. And I've got some email drip campaigns and setting up, all for the purpose of setting up that in-person meeting. Because
Yeah.
that's
That's
where
a B2B kind of person is a good, again, I'm just thinking about growing your business and then we can talk ops stuff in a second. But as you grow, especially if you have more than one location, somebody whose only job is to kind of like network and interact with B2B channel partners is a great one. So it's just like, hey, just call in, want to see if you guys had a vendor list. We do insulation, got over 400 reviews. We're right down the street today. I don't know if you guys do insulation in house or whether you sub it, but we'd love to be, my Brandon is in town, would love to maybe get a cup of coffee. Like somebody just working that pays for themselves very quickly too.
yeah,
Like
yeah, exactly.
GCs, restoration guys. I don't know who they are for you, but
Yeah, same.
home builders. I don't know. Like
Yeah,
that person's a good global talent hire too, for sure. Connecting on LinkedIn. Hey, just want to connect. We're the, Nashville's #1 rated insulation company. Here's a free guide to insulation 2025 version.
yeah.
Like crap like that. That stuff works
Yeah.
really well.
Just getting information out there, getting touch points, because it's like the thing with our service is that it's not intuitive. People don't really know when they need it a lot, so it's just about getting in front of them so that when whatever that trigger is does strike, they think of us.
Is it what is the what is it a pain purchase or a pleasure purchase?
It's usually a pain purchase. It's
What's that trigger? Is it like like they smell something? Like what causes them to look for an insulation?
so sometimes, and honestly, I've been doing this for 4 years, and we're still not completely certain on what that trigger is.
What do
It's
people search?
yeah,
Yeah.
the weather when it's extremely hot or extremely cold, and people
Okay.
are, you know, they're hot or they're cold in their house. It's like, hey, my upstairs, I set it at 72. It won't get below 77. What's going
Ah,
on? And
okay.
usually, even then, everyone's calling their HVAC.
I was gonna say I'd call my HVAC guy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, exactly, exactly. And they're like, no, your unit's running fine, and maybe check your insulation. So it's hard. It's hard to educate a customer.
Could you cold call for it?
I don't know. I mean, we could. I don't know if that would. I don't know. I don't. I'm not
Yeah.
sure how
I'm
I
just more
feel about
curious.
cold calling. Just from you know a customer experience kind of thing. Especially with all the, my phone's probably got 6 telemarketers calling me while we've been talking. I wouldn't want to. Our customer service is so good that I don't know. It feels like a little bit of a risk.
Dude, I'm just, throwing ideas at you. Yeah. Um, okay. And then on the back end for you. So those are did I give you a couple ideas on like
Oh yeah,
salesy type stuff? Yeah. Um, content is always one for sure. The second one from an ops, you've already got those takeoffs for sure. Kind of crew scheduling, answering the phones. As you grow, I would say, purchasing is definitely one. As you get more advanced, do you guys use like Service Titan or anything like that?
we're switching over to something called Service Minder.
Cool.
Uh,
But
no,
somebody who just wakes up and kind of keeps CRM cooking, I find
yeah,
to be worth their weight in gold, where it's just like they're keeping it like optimized and we're using it properly. And like
yeah,
I couldn't pay $100,000 a year for that person, but I could pay $1,500 a month to have somebody who's just like, hey,
yeah,
I've created a new Thanksgiving campaign for this email segment that's just to people who've bought from us before. Like that person is a
yeah.
good fulfillment person. And then the last category I would say for you, and maybe ties into your franchise consulting a little bit too, but building like building an inorganic pipeline, meaning are there other koalas that you want to try to buy?
Yeah.
Like meaning somebody who's building deal flow for you, whether it's other franchisees in Koala or other franchisees in Nashville or other small businesses that might be good tuck-ins for you. Just somebody who's like sniffing around going, hey, my name's Bob. I work in Brandon's. We're always looking for remote home services businesses in the Nashville area. Any interest in having a conversation with Brandon about maybe buying your business or whatever? So building a acquisitions pipeline is a great global. I've done that for private equity companies.
Yeah, yeah, I could definitely, you know, I run into that with my consulting business. Like I got into it to help other former athletes, but there's a lot of people from all walks of life looking, and a lot of them are looking in the wrong directions, and they're putting trust into people that are positioning themselves as advocates for them, but they are, really just pushing them to sign on the dotted line, and not help them. So I envision myself getting to a point where I need someone to help me on that side of things too.
Yep.
Or, I want to be the person working one on one with
Yep.
that person, so that they're they're learning how to do their proper due diligence, and that they're not just rushing into something. But yeah, all the other stuff on that in that business.
The analogy that I would use for you is you are the I write about this a lot. You're Gordon Ramsay. You need a lot of other people.
Hmm.
So you don't peel the potatoes.
Yeah.
You don't. Now, what do? You create the recipe, you taste the food before it goes out, you do some VIP stuff, but you're not in the back flipping 47 burgers 4 hours a day. You're not the one who diced all the onions. You said, this is how you dice an onion. And then you hire somebody who is not as skilled as you are, as Gordon Ramsay is. And you say, every morning, I want you to come in here and make me a bucket of
Hmm.
potatoes. and then you have another guy. And so for you, as you think about growing and building leverage in your business and your life, you're the French chef who sits at the very end of the process, takes a spoonful and goes, too much salt, make it again. Or this is
Yeah.
perfect, I'm going to go walk it out to the VIPs, which is what you can do in your consulting business. There's a lot of different ways to use that analogy, but it's like there's 9 guys on the field. How many people are in the organization though?
Yeah.
You don't have Greg Maddox, wash his own uniform. Right. And so it's the same thing. If you think about it like that, it's like there's only 9 guys playing. Brandon's the only one who can sell an opportunity, but there's a lot of other laundry that needs to get done in that business. Right. So if you start thinking about it like that, you'll be able to start building real leverage and really accelerate or build more balance in your life.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I've got a lot of other, ideas and businesses that I'd like to pursue. And these types of things are what even allows me to entertain it, because I know what goes into starting a business now, and I know how to kind of hire for these things from the beginning in ways that it's definitely opened my eyes and opened the opportunities for my future.
So the last, maybe we can end on, if you had any questions or whatever, I'll just give you one last spiel. I read a whole newsletter about this, but just to get you thinking based on what you said. And if you like this stuff, we can always talk more about it, but it's really what Sagan's all about, which is this idea of building leverage. And what leverage is, not financial leverage. Leverage is small input, big output. So Brandon doesn't just trade his time for money forever. Brandon sets up a system and the system makes money, right? And so there are really 3 types of leverage. And the reason why leverage is important is because it's how you get to go on vacation. It's how you get to make money while you sleep. It's how you get to have 50 territories, not just one. Leverage is the way to build lifestyle, money, whatever you want is on the other side of leverage, in my opinion. Or a lot of what you want is on the other side of leverage.
Yeah.
So there's 3 types of leverage. You're getting good at one right now, and hopefully you'll keep doing it, which is labor leverage, which is other people to help do the work. Now, my favorite form of labor leverage is a global workforce. Building a labor leverage in Nashville is hard. Building it in Argentina, Colombia, and South Africa, not as hard. So I got very good at labor leverage, just based on my ambition. The second form is capital, writing checks. I never really had any money. I have some money now, but historically I never had any money, so I couldn't really use that. I was like, yeah, you can write a check and solve a problem. And then the third one that you'll maybe appreciate from your previous endeavors is basically products that have no marginal cost of replication. Meaning, the 2 biggest ones are media, like social media, video content, newsletters, whatever, or code, tech. And so if you start, Brandon, as you think about all these other ideas you want to pursue, if you think about it through the lens of leverage, which is, how am I going to build leverage? I'm going to buy this franchise, but I'm not going to hire a single person locally. I think I could run the whole thing globally with just subcontracted crews. You're like a leverage first mindset to approaching opportunities is how, for me, when I kind of made it out of difficult times and into less difficult times, it's when I started writing on Twitter, because then people found me. And then I was able to execute on the promises I made because I have 70 people who work for me now. And then I was, right. So when I started walking through the world with leverage goggles on is when I really got to spend even more time with my family, because I didn't have to commute for 2 hours. Right. Or was able to buy things or whatever it was. And so I would just encourage you, for me, I got introduced to this idea of leverage, and it was like, it polluted my brain forever. And so if you have you heard that before?
No, not in those terms, but yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. It makes sense.
You're on it. You're totally you're right on it, which is so cool. And you've done your first 2 hires, but imagine looking at acquisition opportunities through the scope of how much global talent can I use in this? Think about how much more effective you are just with that.
My mind's there. I'm evaluating.
Yeah, I can tell. That's why I said it, because I could tell by the way you were.
Based on that.
Yeah, correct. Literally being like, I would not pursue this if I didn't know I couldn't staff it like I know I can with Sagan or whatever. So,
yeah, exactly.
Okay, last question for you, and then we'll wind up, is for other folks within Koala who might be like, yeah, maybe, I don't know, sure, maybe not, whatever. What guidance would you give them? What best practices? What, DIY versus non-DIY, like, or whatever, any advice at all?
I mean, I've already done this. I put a post out on our kind of, our news feed in our portal, and had a few people reach out. And I think more need to, because I think it's, you know, there's a lot of owner operators in Koala that are trying to free up their time. And one of the biggest detriments to that is the phone. And that's something that Sagan helped me with, and is a pretty there's a lot of talent out there that can help you with that in a way that is, cost effective and efficient. And that's going to just get them, I think, open their minds up to the other things, like what Victoria does for me with our CRM and the scheduling and everything else. So it's more than just someone answering the phone. It's so much more than that. But then also, like, hey, there's, again, that owner operator, they're out doing appointments all day. They can't come home and do 3 takeoffs, and actively pursue growing their business that way.
That's so cool, man.
Preach it to other people. It's a way to get them out of, buying a job into buying and building a business in a franchise space.
That's so, man, I'm just so happy that we could, like, I'm so happy that you found us. I'm so happy that it's working. Like,
Yeah.
I just love talk. I could talk about this for 5 more hours, but it's,
Yeah.
I get excited about kind of sharing my excitement about building great companies and helping entrepreneurs, and, like, you know, I just, I'm very excited about it. So overall, you've been pleased with Sagan, it sounds like?
Extremely. Yeah. And I
Awesome.
haven't
Oh,
even
makes me
tapped
happy.
into it's been a busy few months, so I haven't tapped into the school and the university as much as I'd like to. So just that learning that I can actually send. I thought that was more for me, and I've
Oh,
used it
it's for
for
your
other
global
things.
talent.
Sending them and getting them to do some things is going to be,
And you know how grateful they are that you're investing in upskilling them? If you're like, hey, take a few hours off and go. We did Spanish language accent reduction, just because I want them to keep improving their language so that I can keep promoting. Like, we do all sorts of crap because it's all the stuff that I want my team to get better at, like
yeah,
how to take good notes, like you name it. It's just like, I think of stuff I want our team to do, and then we invite our Sagan members, and, like, you know what I mean? Like, cause I
yeah,
want to invest in my team, and I'm like, dude, we should just invite the members. I was like, that's how it started,
yeah,
So,
yeah. That's
that's the
awesome.
idea. So cool, man. Any final thoughts, questions, concerns?
No, I'll bring it back to the beginning. I'll leave you. You're a fan. I'll leave you with one of my favorite Greg Maddox stories.
Oh, don't even
Well,
tease
you
me.
know,
Don't tease me, Brandon.
Greg is notoriously, a prankster and a jokester. I'm sure you've heard stories. My favorite that he, later on in my career, when I got to meet him, he confirmed for me, was every Sunday in Atlanta, one of the clubhouse guys would pick up 2 dozen donuts from a secret spot that he never divulged where it came from, and they were great. But Maddox, his whole career, would drive in early on Sundays purposely to be the first one there, and would take a small bite out of all 2 dozen.
I like that energy.
Yeah, it's good family fun prank.
It's
right
good old,
there.
good,
Yeah,
clean fun. So everybody's sitting there eating one bite, taking
yeah,
donuts.
yeah,
Man,
yeah.
that's fantastic. So yeah, I reach out about anything. Please send your team. Doesn't cost anything. Like,
Yeah.
we'd love to see them there and, like, build a relationship with them to help them become better and bigger parts of your company over time, and put in that hiring request for a video editor.
I
It seems
will.
like that was the
I
one you
will.
liked the most. So
Yeah, yeah. I'm excited about that. I need to get my guys to wear some GoPros, because
yeah,
I
or
always
put them
tell
on the
them,
truck.
take some videos for me, and it's kind of like pulling teeth. It'll have.
GoPros, or you say, if you upload a video, I'll give you X. I mean, you can do, like,
Yeah,
contests, because it's so important to get that content.
yeah, yeah. It
So
is. It is. We need to
cool.
tap that up. Yeah. Thanks for having me, John. Really enjoyed it.
The biggest impact I've seen is our ability to consistently get the outputs we want without having to keep changing focus.
Sagan had a team on the back end, well experienced in this, that's going to kind of walk alongside me through the process. Will support me and will answer the questions that help me figure this out.
The resources and having a community that you can talk to. I've watched quite a few of the workshops. There's so many like little details that you don't really think about.
I typed out 100,000 things on exactly what I wanted to work with. So I assumed that there was no way that we'd be able to check them all in. And Sagan came back, the first candidate they sent me was literally the perfect candidate. He matched my description almost exactly. And then we decided to hire her on as our executive admin team.